your work is of finding the middle between what you want to do and what other people like want to see you do. And you get to make your bread behind that. You get to make your livelihood behind that. And I just was, you could throw a rock in Los Angeles and hit an actor. If you want to hit an actor that has booked 2 to 4 commercials a year for 8 years, you're going to need a whole lot more fucking rocks, bro. Okay? I'm that guy. I'm the guy who's 8 to 12% on a commercial agent's roster for years. Having that removed from me, that purpose is the wrong word, but like focus and like identity, just the floor was, pulled from under me. And it's like, now what? I came out here hanging my hat on, I can book commercials like a G.
Yeah.
And even when I'm in that good split and the money's good, it's like, well, what's the next step? The next step is still door shut, door slam. Like I ain't do nothing. And it's like, all right, well, now you're sick. You ran yourself sick. So the only thing people want to really watch you do is talk about MS. So now what? So that's what I do. And it's fun.
Was it? Actually, no, hold on. I'm in my mind, we're in the podcast. I'm sorry.
And this is what happens when you have genuine people.
Yeah, can I just, this is it. Honestly, this is exactly how I wanted it to be. And this is what I love tangents. I love all these spaces. Can I just do the intro? Like, listen, welcome to Profits and Process. We already started without you, and we're going to continue this because this is great.
It's going to be here, baby.
My guest is a man that I'm learning in real time about. To be flat out honest, I am not familiar with him outside of yesterday. Really doing research, and I don't even want to say that. This was kind of a last minute, but I really appreciate this. You guys might realize that we're not inside. Maybe you might realize that we changed the setting and we're not inside. And there's a reason for that. And that reason will get discussed later in the conversation. But this man has had a very prolific career in the industry of acting, specifically commercials, and he identifies, I guess, as an actor, editor, rapper. The most thing that is most important to me is nerd, that you claim, and I love that because I want to dive in what that means to you.
Baby.
Welcome, Damian Washington, to Profits and Process.
Ooh, it is an honor to be here. Okay. And the prophets and the prophets
yes,
in process.
Absolutely.
The duality and strength of your language, it's not lost on me.
Thank you.
Even without seeing the spelling change,
yeah,
I already went through that just upon hearing it.
Thank you.
And that's when it was like, let's see what else this person has to talk about. Let's see what his guests are on. And I swallowed all of the podcasts.
Which is crazy to me. I don't know how, but okay, man.
Well, sir, I'm a little insane.
You process fast.
I'm a little insane in the regard that, this is something I like. I now need to know everything about it. And when I see everything, the meat, the potatoes, the bread, one slice of the bread, I need to know everything now. So
where's that come from? Before you get that, what's that come from?
A few things.
Why the need to know everything?
Because performing is so dynamic, and whatever you prepare for is not going to be the thing that happens on the stage. And the main thing that makes you good in that moment is all of the times that you have prepared. And whatever you will do because of that, it'll be authentic. It will be real to the moment. It might not be what's in the script, but it's what what happened between the two players when they were playing. And that's what people came to see and fall in love with when they watch. That's your job.
There you go. I think that is a level of respect for the craft. That's a level of respect for the art. And I've always said that preparation, which I say is training, it allows you to put your best foot forward in whatever you want to do.
Traumatic story, sir. So I went to the high school for performing arts, LaGuardia, the fame school. Like, it's a whole thing. Okay.
You said LaGuardia?
Yep.
In New York?
Yep.
You're from New York?
All day. Harlem and the Bronx.
Oh, that's what's up.
Sir,
New Yorker,
sir,
brother. All right.
Baby. See, I had mixed my pound because of the
that's all good.
me touching this and getting,
this is
respect,
nothing.
sir.
Absolutely,
My
man.
guy.
That's love.
That's her. So I'm a Harlem kid, and in that, my mom sees that I'm really good with like sort of performing and reading copy, and like, stick him in a commercial class. Yeah. He's the best in the class. Stick him to the commercial agent. He books commercials. Okay, keep going with this, son. Eventually I went to LaGuardia. I'm kind of doing that, still doing commercials, still like learning about this craft. The first year at LaGuardia, I had a professor, Murat Yusim, Mr. Yusim, a real hard scrabble vodka breakfast type of dude, and Russian theater, cramming that into 14-year-old New York City talented individuals is what was happening. And
what does that even look like, Russian theater?
But this is what I'm saying. This is even part of the story.
Okay.
This is why this comes up. One of the things that he would just yell at things at us and be like, "You are doing tableaus," and you have to, like, conform to what he's doing and do it now. And one of the things he would have us do were exercises, coordination exercises. So we would have to say a certain rhyme in a certain way and make sure we did the steps all in the time. And he's like, double time. And then you do it again faster. And he's like, triple time. And you do it again. Like, it's a whole thing. One day, he's doing it. We're doing it. We're going through it. I guess he just wanted to mess with us. We're doing it. I think it was jingle bells, right? And he goes, "It's wrong. Do it again." And we did jingle bells, jingle. It's wrong. Do it again. And he just kept, we never really got to like finish the verse, like the first line of the verse. "It's wrong. Do it again." One time, I snapped. I go, "What do you mean it's wrong? We've been doing it the same way every fucking day."
How old are you at this point?
14. "We've been doing it the same way every fucking day."
It's a phenomenal performance if you do it like that.
Like, I'm going in on this dude. Tears, snot. I've lost my mind.
Yeah.
It's gone. I'm done. And I'm just heaving mess, like, and like, he walks over. This is a big room. He walks over, man, you could hear a pin drop, dude. And he goes, "You see, class, Damian can do this because he has lots of energy. The rest of you, it's wrong. Do it again."
Yeah, see?
And so everybody had to do it again. He was like, "You, come with me." Pull me to the side, give me some tissues. He's like, "Hey, you one of the best. You one of the best in here. I cannot have you yelling at me like this. I put you through all of this because when you get on set, you're going to have long days. You're going to need to do it again. You're not going to know why. Your job is to do it again, like you've never done it before. This is why I'm doing this to you.
Oh, shit.
Clean yourself up. Come back to class."
That's a fucking teacher, boy. That's what you want.
I cleaned myself up, got back to class, and that was a seed of the amount of repetition, about the amount of dedication, about the amount of energy that it would take to be stellar. You're in a room of talented people. Do you want to be the one that is remembered by far out of everyone? You're going to have to do things over and over and over and over and get better and better and better and better and better at those things. And then do that a jillion times. And if you're not ready to do that, maybe you could have put something else on your plate to try to figure out. And like, I got that. I got it crystal clear, like traumatically crystal clear when I was 14.
Oh, man, I think that there's it's very similar to a story I have with football, my first football coach. And I thought he was too hard on me. I thought he was treating me differently than the rest of the players.
Speak on it.
I think
Speak on it.
Yeah, I didn't like him. I thought it wasn't fair the way he was talking about me and the way that he presented practice and everything, you know, normal stuff. So of course I spoke to my dad, or my dad to go up to bat for me, and I say, hey man, I just feel like he's unfair with me at practice. He yells at me more. He's harder on me than the rest of the kids. And so my father went and of course spoke to the coach, and the coach said, I am harder on Ryan than anybody else. He's better than everyone.
He's better.
And he's like, so because of that, I'm not going to treat him like everyone else. And that changed my reference point for teachers. Because I've always had teachers that I love, and I've had teachers that have really looked out for me and supported me. But that changed my reference point for teachers who were hard on me. Because I saw it now as somebody that they care.
They care. And they're in a position
they're not allowing me to
help bring something out of you that you are nowhere near seeing. And even if you could think of it, you would talk yourself out of it, because it's going to require more than you currently are to dig it out of you. Having other people, older people who've been doing the thing and been watching people go through the motions just like you are for years, and then when they see something different in you, pluck you to the side, maybe even turn up the heat, maybe even make it like a crucible that you are just cooked in. And now that you are cooked in, wait, do you hate me? No. Well, good. Get out here and be better than everybody.
Yeah.
I love you.
That's what you want, boy.
Ooh, I'm about to cry.
Not everybody receives it in the same manner.
No.
And it like hurts my heart that not everybody even is able to experience it in those spaces of being seen. Having somebody that can see them and see what their gift is, or see what they bring to the table, to be able to challenge them in a particular way that they can receive.
What, so,
I don't know shit. I'm sorry. Fuck.
No,
that's a whole nother. No, it just puts it really rests. Especially I have my daughters. It makes me think about my daughters and wanting to just that be the root of everything that I do with them. Is I just want to for them to see themselves around like what they're capable of.
Look, that's impactful for a cat like me, because I'm a guy who's here mainly because his mama thought the guy across the street was cute. Okay? And
it's usually what it is.
Well, what I'm saying is that it's like you were in the hood. Okay?
No, I understand.
And next thing you know, the woman who's breaking her back to make sure her daughter can have a better life is now going to have a grandson. So now she is breaking her back double time to make sure that boy doesn't get in the trappings of Harlem, of New York City hood life. And in that, it's made me some other type of dude. It's like, oh no, that's a hood dude. But he doesn't have the hood trappings. Yeah. And he also can navigate the most non-hood spaces. And that sort of energy, the middle of that is something really special. And the middle of that, so far for me, has been 37 commercials and voiceovers.
That's love, yeah.
A YouTube channel of 6,500 people from across the globe who have multiple sclerosis and watch my channel for whatever they get from it.
Does that create peace of mind? I think that when I look at what you said, the middle ground of we don't have control over where we're born. We don't have control over where we're raised. And so we are susceptible to those stimuli, to those things that the constants, the variables within those that we don't, those no control over those. Our spirit is who we are. The things that are intrinsic to who we are, that have nothing to do with our environment, that have nothing to do with, to find the balance between those where we don't allow, because that to me is the unhealthy imbalance where a lot of our situations are in, marginalized sectors, impoverished sectors, the environment overstimulates the spirit for, justifiable, understandably. And then because we don't have community, because we don't have a lot of times the guidance in relation to finding that balance. Do you think, to me, that's where peace of mind comes?
Peace of mind for me comes from the process. It's in the process. It's how I can go in and out of rooms all day, every day for weeks, unconcerned with the result, but concerned with how I run the play, how I have done what I needed to do in order to convert. In my case, 45 to 55% of the time, that means I would get called back. About 20 some odd percent of the time, I would be on hold. And anywhere between 8 to 12%, I would get a job. Now, whether that meant that I would have a bunch of money, whether that meant that I would be in a commercial that got shelved, that's inconsequential. But whether or not I got the success of getting the thing. I've gotten the thing 3 dozen times. Been on 2 different commercials on the same commercial break. Had all of the dough, but then also kind of had none of the dough, right? In that swing. All of these, issues are going on around me and health stuff and blah, blah, blah. I eventually get to a space where I'm meeting with a past life regressionist. And you know what a past life regressionist is, right? Of course you do. That dude is locking into your subconscious mind. And whatever can be the most help for you at this specific moment, you get to experience. What I experienced when I had my session.
Yeah.
I was an archer. And I would go to fairs and compete, and I would generally win, if not place or show. When I wasn't doing that, I was practicing over and over and over and over again. And when I wasn't doing that, I really don't have any recollection, because that's all the things that I saw. All I saw was me competing and me being better than everybody else. Even if I didn't win, I certainly was good competition. I mostly won. And I felt like I was alone the whole time. Nobody was around. And the regressionist leads you through, and he's like, all right, you're dying now. This is your last day, your last hours. What do you see around you? I also thought that I was alone still. I was like, damn, I'm alone. And he's like, all right, well, you're about to die. So let's look again. And I'm like, oh, there is somebody here. Oh, I guess I have my wife here. She's an old lady. She's crying. Dude goes, look in her face. Who is she? And I looked, and it was my mom. And I'm emotional because, my mom's she was a young mom, 18, 19. And was in the hustle of the hustle to make sure that boy had different outcomes than a lot of the other boys around him. So it was a pressure cooker, to say the least. That pressure, in that moment, I learned was, this was part of our spiritual contract with each other over lives, through lives. You, in this one life, you were around me, right next to me. I had no clue you were there. Excuse me.
Yeah.
This other life, I know nothing but your presence, making sure that I do the right thing. And it shaped me to be this dude who practices like no one else, who gets to be the best version of himself in a way that is stellar, in a way that outcompetes people around him, and in a way that makes him great.
The idea of the desire to be willing to do the reps, the desire to perform at a high standard, the desire to actually do well, be good and do well at what you do. Is that a tribute to her for all that has been given to you?
Absolutely. I'm unsure if I would be the beast that I am had I not been subject to such, as Shakespeare puts it, forms and pressures. I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis 8 years ago. And essentially my immune system is eating my brain and my spine as we speak. And that means my vision cannot be so good. Me walking and my muscles and like my knees hurt. And like, if I got to go to the bathroom, I got to go right now.
Yeah.
Or I don't know the last time that I went to the bathroom, et cetera, right? So I essentially married me being on camera, me talking to my camera, to my YouTube audience, to talking about MS. And eventually it gets to the point where it's like, oh, the guy who I watch talk about his MS, I see him in TV commercials. I see him on TV shows.
Yeah.
Wow. That sort of it just all sort of married. And it's like, well, you don't know who Damian is, but I do. 'Cause we both have this unfortunate thing.
Yeah.
You'll know who he is one day, but I'm glad that we are here in this room together. And so that's what I do.
For those who aren't familiar, like, is it immediate in relation to it immediately drastically affects your world? Was it a gradual change? Was it something that
different people, different things, and how it came to me was like strange health things here and there over the years. But in leading up to my diagnosis, just terrible health things were leading up to, oh, go see this one doctor. Oh, they don't know what's wrong with you. See another one. Oh, they don't know what's wrong with you. See another one. Eventually, none of the doctors know what's wrong with me. My wife and I went to take a walk one day, and after the walk, I couldn't even make it halfway down the block. Like, I was just so tired. I couldn't do it. It's like, all right, let's go back home. And we went back home, and I went to take my shoes off, and I fell. And like, you're like, oh, okay, let me take off my shoes. And you're looking at the ceiling. And she's like, well, that's it. We're going to emergency care, and we're not leaving until we know what's wrong with you. The ER doctor was like, I don't know what's wrong with you. Get an MRI. The MRI readout was like, this dude is mad healthy. He totally has multiple sclerosis now. He needs to get a neurologist stat and get that worked out. And I'm like reading the paper like, don't Montel got multiple sclerosis? Montel Williams? Like, that's the only brown man that I know who has MS.
Which is a whole nother conversation.
It's a whole nother thing.
There's not enough.
That's a whole nother thing. And I was like, well, okay, fine. And then started to be like, okay, this is the thing this is the Goliath that David must slay. Okay. And in that, change my diet, change my
So immediately
lifestyle.
you took that mentality on.
That's
beautiful. That's who you are.
That's the guy who does 30 some odd commercials, 2 to 4 a year. That mentality, the thing
I see that as the definition of profits and process. You took all the value that you've gained in your process in the past in relation to your craft, and you were given a dragon that you are still slaying, and you were able to, all the tools and weapons and everything that you have and who you are allowing you now to walk with this. And I don't even know I don't know if it's a slaying. It's more a taming. You're walking with the dragon.
Yeah, no, we walk together.
You walk together. Yeah.
I'm like the Khaleesi.
Exactly.
I get to ride the dragon.
Absolutely.
You point the dragon in places.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But that's my dragon. We have a thing.
Yeah.
It's a strange place to be in. I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy, fam. Like, at all. I would wish a combination of like an STD and like a blood disorder on somebody before I was like, your immune system will eat you from the inside. Goodbye. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But this is my charge, and being who I am on top of the condition has made a way that 6,500 people across the world on the YouTubes watch me. And I for years, I did that every week. Pharmaceutical companies that have to deal with MS patients, they call me like, hey, will you be on our thing and help us figure out what patients want? So it's like, I also make content for a multiple sclerosis channel. So it's like, it's like part of my bread and butter now is figuring out how to bring some of this human to this human disease.
We talked about this off camera in relation to you having a very clear understanding of what you like. You're making videos around things that you're really interested in. It's also part of your career. You're in it. You have a YouTube channel, and then you become diagnosed with MS. And now the one video you post about MS is the video that takes off and what people care about. And now you're like, oh, this is really what only people care about. And you make a decision, which is not, I'm sure it's not the easiest decision. And the baseline of that decision is to look at what you want to do, look at what you're interested in, and then look at what the people want and say, you know what, I'm going to give the people what they want outside of what I really want to intrinsically create. And you did that. And that's what you have essentially said is what your purpose now, what you feel most called to do is give the people what they want. Can you speak on that perspective? Because I like that. And I'm not saying that it's what people should do, but I think that it's valuable in relation to like, what's your perspective on why you did that and why you changed your process in regards to your lane?
Something that runs me is the notion, the cave you fear to enter holds the treasure you seek. Anything I don't want to do, anything I have some sort of minimal amount of resistance to,
got to do it.
If the resistance is that strong, I have to be that much stronger to go through it and do it. It's fine if I fail. It's fine if it doesn't work. But 8 times out of 10, I run chest first into that fear cave.
Yeah.
And I come out with jewels. And I come out with things that I did not even know were in there. And I did not know that I wanted. But they're mine. And now people think I'm cool because I have these things. But I'm like, I just ran into the fear cave chest first. And I happen to still be on my feet. And now I've emerged with these things and y'all love them. Okay, cool. We'll dance around and shine them up and go to a fancy party. And the next time the needle needs to be moved and Damian needs to continue expanding and maybe you should do this. Maybe you should do that. What is it that I don't want to do? What is it that will be hard? What is it that it's not even that I don't want to do, that like I don't want to do it because it's not that I don't want to do it because I know I can't do it. I don't want to do it because, see, there's no words on that. But that emotion, whenever I feel that, I go do the thing, bro. I have to. because I know I've done enough repetition, enough repetitious exercises to know that as the cream begins to rise from the liquid,
Yeah.
that process makes me that cream. Everything else, I get separated from everyone else, and now I am the top. And if I keep continuing, I will be even on top of the people who are on top. And that's the main goal, is that's how I feel I am of service, to continue to be my best self. Like that bird is being his best self.
Yeah, that bird is letting us know. I got something to say too.
Everybody, come on, baby, trying to be on the podcast, baby. To just continuing to be better and better and better, better version of me and what that means. And the world sort of conforms itself around that. And I keep expanding and expanding. And that's really kind of how it works. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
I love it. How's your wife helped and been supportive? And
Bro. Again, I was falling apart. I was on my fourth doctor, and they still was like, shrug emoji. She was like, I'm not living with this. Let's go. Let's go get the answers now. And the rubber meets the road in me through her. I have no problem disappointing people. I have no problem with disappointing myself because I believe in myself. It unnerves me more than anything to disappoint her. It shatters my world. If she can say anything less than good job, well done. If she can say anything else other than I got work to do. And it's like, and it's a good thing, you know?
Oh, yeah, what do you mean? It motivates you.
Yeah.
Women can do that, huh? The right woman.
Correction, the right woman, and better than anything on the planet.
Because if it was up to us, we don't have to do anything.
Fam.
Men will just wither away in existence.
Fam. You just gonna be here.
I know.
Yo, fam, I'm gonna be here. Yo, I got another dude. Hey, yo, fam, you just want to be here too? Yo, let's just be here. Then.
We don't have to have to do anything.
Fam.
We just chill. We'll be curious, but our curiosity will be like, yeah, I'm curious. We're just chilling.
What your man say? When a man loves a woman, can't keep his mind on nothing else, like that type of a thing. You know what it is.
It makes us. We want to get better. With inspiration, activation, cultivation, everything. All the Asians.
What
we just make it becomes one big verb. We just become a verb.
Facts.
A verb of action.
Action, and the verbs are action words.
Yeah.
And
a verb of action, the same shit, yeah.
Yeah, well, the action is contained within the letters and patterns of speech in the verb. That's what it is. That's what the part of speech is. So the woman, the man, the whomever your significant other is, provides that catalyst for that action.
Yeah.
And life is all about catalyst. And whether we judge our own catalyst as good or bad, or like, it's just catalyst. So if I do something dumb, I forgot this, or I kind of dinged the car, or I probably shouldn't have bought that, et cetera, et cetera. It's catalyst, man. And the catalyst changes the landscape. And then what I do in that catalyst, that's my life. That's why my spirit came down to be Damian Washington this go round, because it wants to learn what it will do in these sort of situations, what it will do with these sorts of catalysts, and what I will do will resonate with so many more other people who are in a similar situation.
Are your days consistent, or is it kind of up and down just based upon
when I was running around town doing more commercials, it was that inconsistent consistency.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. But these days it's certainly more consistent. Like, I'm up at 5 so that I can be showered, and meditating from 5:30, 5:45 till 6:30, 6:45. Right? I'm up. I meditate. I take my wife to work. I come back home. I work. I meditate. I eat. I work. I meditate. I work more. Be with my lady.
Yeah.
Go to bed. Do it again. That's my process. I sit between 2 and 3 times a day for about 20 minutes to a half hour. 3 times a day. I eat as many things that contain things other than dead animal products as I possibly can. And be outside as much as I possibly can.
Yeah. Hence why we are sitting outside.
I made everybody change the rules today, baby.
Yes, Damian did make us change the rules.
Look, I want to be on your show. You want me to be on your show? Shoot, listen, this is what I'm going to need, big fella. And you're like, no, I got you. And I'm like, well, then let's just hang out for a couple hours then, baby.
I appreciate that. Our engineer said, hey, we got one small detail.
Yeah.
With filming. And I'm like, all right, he calls me and he's like, yeah, he doesn't really go inside with people. I'm not inside with strangers. And I'm like, what? What is that? He's like, yeah, he doesn't really go inside with strangers. And I was like, oh, so we'd have to film outside. And
I love how that got boiled down.
Yeah, it was a very, actually, I appreciate it. It was kind of like, yeah. I think he's in. We just have one small detail we just have to work out. A small detail changes every aspect of what we do.
Everything. I love how that gets boiled down, right? Because frankly, that's real. Because when I caught the thing, I was on my back for 13 days. And from, day 13 to day 20, that's when I was just a regular dude. But in those 13 days, my spouse, my wife, my life partner couldn't be in the same spaces with me. And so she had to sleep on the balcony.
Health is numero uno.
In the middle of a heat wave.
Yeah.
In a tent. Like, it's like, wait, what? How am I living that my gal, my other half, can't even be in the same space with me and sleep on the balcony? Well, we got to figure this out. We got to ensure that remains out of our existence. And even notice how I'm saying something other than, I got to make sure that don't happen again. I ain't doing that again. I'm not. Like, no.
No, you just wanted to create something else.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you can have the same energy around a topic or subject and use words other than negative words, other than negative energy that stops the action.
I have a tattoo on my arm that says, focus your energy on that which you want to create. And the whole phrase is focus your energy on that which you want to create, not what you want to change. I didn't even tattoo not what you want to change because I didn't want not on my word.
Look, I'm gonna have to play the podcast back because I want to write that down, baby. That's something to spend your mind on, big fella.
Yeah, that's what I live by. So
it's important, and it's particularly when you get pushed up against the wall, and now you're like, now what? And so now what's the thing that you actually want?
Yeah, what's the word you want, not the thing you don't like. Yep,
forget the thing you don't want.
Don't forget the thing you don't want. You don't want it. Yeah, I don't want to be on this corner. So just tell me what you do want.
You do want.
Tell me what you do want to create.
What you want.
Tell me what's the world you do want to create.
Do that. And that is I'm sitting here talking to you right now only because of that. And the joy, the energy, the love, the presence that's in that and what that means outside of me, outside of you, outside of everyone that's brought us here together. That's the real thing, man. That presence, that strength, that space that you can't see, but you can sense. You can't touch, but you can feel. That is the space that I aim to be living in and exploring and expanding. And that's the thing that makes me, the guy who is able to hold space for people with medical conditions in inclusive, yet still fun enough sort of a way to keep you compelled and interested. And that's kind of that's part of the battery in my back. I knew when Montel Williams hit me up, like, yo, Be on my show. Let's talk about this MS thing. That's when I was like, all right, I'm going to slow down just like a little bit. I'm going to slow down just a little bit and give myself a little bit grace, because that's, to a guy my age, as he was coming up, I was
Martell was that guy.
I was barely 12 to 13 as he was coming up, like, and I'm watching his show, you know what I'm saying? And so to really be reintroduced to old boy in this way, but have him knock on my door because of what I'm doing. It's powerful, man.
Right.
And it gives credence to all the stuff that you got to go through, and then all the stuff that, you know, you went through and you're here now. Now it's like, well, what else can I do? If I'm here.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm doing this.
Oh,
like,
my
look
God,
what I'm working.
I can do so much more. Let's go, baby. And that's kind of what's happening right now.
What are some of the things you give yourself, or part of your routine and your process, on some of the quote unquote, not to minimize any of the days, but harder days, the tougher days, or the days that are, you know, don't go in line?
The days that don't go in line, I found to be the days that I have not found time to rest. I've not found time to give myself some time for me. The days that I'm just going. It, you know, and I get my result, that's one thing. But the days that I really just be falling apart are the days that, you know, did you do your energy medicine today, son? How many times did you meditate today, son? Oh, you only meditated once today. Looks like you got 2 more times before you even start to think that, oh, maybe I should try something. No, bro. Do the thing. Show up. If you were supposed to do it 3 times and you've only done it once and you felt like garbage, well, it looks like you got 2 more times to go through your usual thing before you start to think about something else. Profound questions here today, ladies and gentlemen. Okay.
I appreciate you like the questions. Yeah.
This is what I want to say to you. I'm giving you some flowers. You hold a compelling space that people, this is the performer. I'm vulnerable for a living. That's what I do. People get to be vulnerable with you on this podcast, in this space, because what you hold, I keep using the word space in different ways, but the space that you hold, it's comforting. You can trust that you can be your whole self in it. Okay. There's a comforting trust, love, and admiration, because we just met.
Yeah, for real.
But like 6 sentences in, it's like, oh no, I can vibe with this cat. Oh no, we could do, no, let's build, right? So there's a trust, mutual admiration, curiosity, and presence of vulnerability that's necessary to have a good dynamic show and to have people out there continue to watch, baby. That's you, as a guy who makes dynamic shows.
Yeah.
And I've watched all of your podcasts before I even got into the building, because that's what I do. I'm able to remark on what makes your space special. And the things that come out of the space that you hold, yeah, the other people, they were carrying them. However, they would not have been released in such a way without you as the catalyst.
Yeah.
And it's fantastic. That is something that, this is why those corporations make billions of dollars, because if you can make something that holds people's attention and makes them feel included and speaks to their vulnerabilities and draws them in, that is something compelling, something that people will pay top dollar for. And you do that in this space, man.
Thank you. I heard you say this is worth billions of dollars. That's what I heard.
That's what I heard. That's pretty much what it is, my man.
That's
what I think, baby.
Thank you. Truly, thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Respect, man.
Being able to, the idea of holding space for people, and I have these conversations with my team. I've had these conversations with Nelly in relation to asking people on the show. There's a different conversation between my team asking someone to be on the show versus me individually, because I understand that what I'm asking for people to voice and finding value in their process, number one, they have to be willing to verbalize and voice their process, which takes a level of vulnerability. And they have to be willing to be honest around things that are hard to voice, hard to conceptualize, and hard to actually say, I don't know. I don't feel this convicted in. You know, everyone thinks that the guests that we have and the people that we speak with are, man, they're so wise in what they've been through. They're so convicted in their thoughts. And I know that that's not the case. They're just honest. Yeah. And when you're truly like disgustingly honest, that's where a level of expertise comes in. And that's where a level of like wisdom comes in, because you're only speaking to your perspective. You're not speaking as a know-it-all. You're not speaking as, and I think that the questions I do, I try to, create a space where people aren't being asked a question where they have to feel like there's a right answer. I'm not asking, like, it's not about, it's like, you can't give me a wrong answer because it's yours.
You're a champion, my man.
Thank you.
No. Thank you. Because you're part of the team that earned something that only the best get to have. And it is a test of fire. It is a examination of the metal, the mettle, that is running within your veins, that asks you to be greater than yourself so that you can get something that's bigger than yourself for people, for a world that's more than yourself.
It's alchemy.
That's what I'm saying.
It's alchemy.
Like you did that, man.
We're doing it. We're doing it. We're doing it. This is the process.
What I'm saying is, it's the process. And it's like just even hearkening back to my past life, where all I did was practice, and all I did was just go. And then I thought I was alone, except there was somebody right here helping me doing it the whole time. And it was my mom. And just on that karmic ride, she was a little bit more in the background. And this karmic ride, she's a bit more in front. And I'm not going to meet my dad until later in my life. Yeah. And now we cool.
For the audience.
Yes, sir.
And for me as well, because just to be honest with you, I am super uninformed. What are some of the misconceptions around MS that you can share?
The common thing is you get diagnosed with MS and you're going to end up in a wheelchair. One, being in a wheelchair is not the end, and sort of throws water on the joy of all of the people with MS who are rolling. Yeah. And it's like nobody who's rolling, everyone who's rolling would love to not be rolling, but they're glad that they're rolling and they're alive. It's, you know what I'm saying? It's not, oh, you got MS? Oh, you're going to end in a wheelchair. That's like one of the biggest things. And, now you're pretty much going to be...
It might be a possibility, but within that possibility, it's not the...
Correct.
Yeah.
Even if I get there, it still wouldn't be the worst thing.
Yeah.
So that's a big thing. And then plus, like, I'm a black guy isn't that a Caucasian woman's disease? And so like that disparity, like a lot of content that gets made, and I guess that's why my content is popular. Because
I'm sure
I'm the guy who does not fit the
you're a
traditional
representation
mold,
that people see.
right, of MS. And now I'm speaking out and doing all of the things that make me awesome, just in an MS context, and that brings people together. That gives them spaces that they don't have, because MS is an isolating disease. You really feel by yourself. And I'm able to make space and hold space that people feel vulnerable together.
You just said that. I want to kind of expand on that. Why is it an isolating disease?
It's isolating because it's one of those invisible diseases, and it's one of those as heavy as it is, you feel like everything has to change now. Like, oh, I'd like to go outside, but fill in the blank. Like, oh, my legs don't feel so good today. Oh, my eyes don't, fill in the blank. And all of those physical things have you doing less. Then in that box, then you feel less chipper and joyful and wanting to share good times with people. And so now that's even further in the corner. And now the people who are well around you want to know what it's like, and like all these things, so they can help you genuinely. But now you have to focus on the things that you'd really rather not focus on right now, et cetera, et cetera. And so that's another layer. So you see, we just keep being knocked back at every point. And we haven't even spoken about the 25 some odd things that can be wrong with you specifically at any given point in time, from your vision to your balance to your guts.
It's one thing to deal with
and
then to deal with how it expresses itself.
All of the myriad little things that MS takes away from you sort of leaves you a little deflated and like alone. And because even if you could do anything, like even if there were other people around you to do things with you and for you, you still feel like less of yourself because you can't do those regular things. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's...
Are there any markers to gauge, like with all the technology in today, and I'm really just thinking about this in reference to all this biohacking and these optimization things that we have nowadays. Are there any markers to actually gauge like your energy levels? Like the same way they have like insulin levels?
Yeah. The science around all of this is changing, and the biomarkers is a thing that has come up in the lexicon the past year and a half, 2 years. And like, what biomarkers are presenting themselves in certain ways so that we can
that are constant, that
we can really work to mitigate, way ahead of all of the thing of what it.
Is there anything specifically that they can say, hey, if you keep this at a baseline, you'll allow yourself to be so and so? Is there anything yet?
So there's your vitamin D levels are sort of one that's a big sort of standard gold plate.
That's what everybody,
right?
Absolutely.
Like get yourself outside, take yourself a capsule, et cetera, et cetera. Those sorts of things that are in that neighborhood, but it's different for everyone. And I know that personally, I switched up what I ate. I was not like I ate it terrible before, but no gluten, no sugar, no dairy. Step one. And then, the types of vegetables that I eat and how they are prepared, and how do I eat, and am I on a fast, and how long is this fast? And all of that tinkering, I only do because of MS. And that's how I've been able to find such good, vibrant
groove,
and be able to show up.
Wonderful.
And as my most present self that dope people call me to be. When I show up there on time, to be that, because I've already done all the things. I've already didn't eat that. I've already ate that instead. I've already meditated for a half hour before I got here. I'm going to an appointment after that. after this, and then I'm going to meditate after that appointment before I drive home and work. And then,
wait till you see our guest from past week or 2 weeks ago, whatever it was, in relation to what he brings to the table. I'm actually, I look forward to see if that makes you want to connect with him in some capacity, and I'll definitely forward his information. He's a breath practitioner.
When you remove all input, when you remove your sensory input and just begin to get in touch with the only thing that's keeping you alive.
That's it.
The more you remove the sensory input and get close to the thing, the only thing that's keeping you alive, the more in touch with your own life you will be. And physiologically, the fight or flight response calms down. The rest and digest response turns up. And that's the sympathetic nervous system and the parasympathetic nervous system for the nerds who are looking to cross every T and dot every I. Yeah. The fight or flight suppressed. The rest and digest is increased, and whatever small thing that was giving me static in the day earlier, maybe my gait wasn't so good, maybe I wasn't walking so well, maybe I didn't go to the bathroom so hot. There are so many times that I've sat down for a half-hour meditation, and 15 minutes in, my body was like, yo, fam, if you don't go to the bathroom right now, not now, but right now, this is going to be a messy meditation. Mm-hmm. So like, I would not have been, I'm like, oh, I need to go to the bathroom. I feel just so terrible. And I go sit. And within that half hour, it's like, move, bitch, get out the way. Like, that's what it is. And so it's like you give your body a chance to be what it needs because your active conscious mind is focused on something else and trying to get that instead of tuning in to give the body what it needs, that it's going to do what it naturally does.
Yeah.
God made it to do this, but you have garbled your mind in a way that has cut this out.
Yeah. You've created distractions, whether justifiable or not, whether they're understandable or not. Life.
It's real. Yeah, like we're not saying
life creates a lot of real distractions that essentially take us away from the most basic bodily fluids, bodily actions.
No, you said it right, big fella. You did. You did, champ. Like this is why I get up early. This is why I go to bed, because I know I go to bed early. I get up early because I know the day and its things will bring its distractions. But if I go to sleep, then I'm gonna wake up earlier, and if I wake up earlier, then I have less of an excuse to not meditate.
I just had an epiphany.
Sir.
Every conversation that we've had on this podcast is basically speaking to the truth around we all need to simplify our lives.
Speak on it.
Every single person. Every single person, if you look at what they talk about in reference to how they have been able to become more efficient, in regards to they become healthier, whether it be physically, they become more attuned, they become more aligned. Not one guest has said, oh, I'm taking on more. I'm trying to take on, they've all talked about, oh, well, no, right now I need to spend more time and focus on this. I need to minimize this, cut this out, trim this, be more attentive towards this. Is essentially they're all speaking to the notion around we have to simplify and taper based upon, and I am a very I stand by this. I think that when you can clarify and be honest around what you value, you can then be honest around the next step is within what you value, what you want to prioritize. And then within what you want to prioritize, then you can really get to the meat around how you want to express that prioritization. Yep. And then, prioritization changes with the seasons because life changes with the seasons. So it should. But I think the values, they change not as much, but those are the foundations around how you see yourself and how you move.
there's this kind of twofold. When you give yourself time,
Yeah.
right? That's all the meditation is. You're giving yourself time, and what that means, whether that's 10 minutes, 12 minutes, 15 minutes, an hour, what you are giving yourself time just for you, not for anyone else, not for your spouse or your kids or your career, just you. Can you sit down and be with yourself for 15 minutes? And that's the biggest resistance with people in meditation. They're like, oh, I can't do that. And in my brain, I'm like, yo, fam, if you don't want to sit by yourself in a room for 15 minutes, who around you wants to sit in a room with you for 15 minutes? Okay. Step one. But step two, it's like the act and the process. It's like picking up a chisel and just going at the rock. And the thinker is in the same block of rock.
Yeah, it's already there.
And so your practice is you picking up the chisel
Yeah,
and the hammer.
practice is not because it was already there.
It's already there. But your garbage health is also in that block. So if you want to have an existence other than garbage health, you better take the time to pick up a hammer and chisel and see what you find when you're in there. And that's a big part of the reason why, like, whenever things are just getting a little too topsy-turvy, I'm like, remove input for a little bit right now and let me just exist. And in that existence, what's real and what's important to me actually will rise to the top. And all of the other things that are asking for my attention and demanding my energy, they're less important. And I have less of a feel of a need to give them my energy in such a strong way. Oh. And so that's the gift that you give yourself. You give yourself the time to do your own internal healing, and you give yourself the time to understand how you can be your best self. And for you to want you to be better, that's scary, bro. And that's why people don't want to do it. That's why they have that resistance. You meet yourself. You meet yourself in the ring, fam.
Because I actually, and this is where I get a little, I guess I get a little esoteric and weird. But I think actually people do, for the most part, want to be silent and want things to be muffled and silent. And the reason why I say that is because true silence is loud. And
mic drop podcast over.
It's loud in the sense that you speak that most people can't sit by themselves and be alone. It's only because what they will truly hear, what they will truly see, what they will truly feel about themselves is as loud as it gets. And it's confronting them, and it's because there's nothing else but that. So it's like, yeah, we fill a lot of our lives with a bunch of bullshit stuff, bullshit interests, distractions. And like I said, it's not, I don't personally think that it's maybe of our doing.
No.
Because also in sitting in silence, you also will then see how much is unnecessary and how much that we don't need. So, but I think overall, we live in a space where it is easy to become muffled. It's easy to get used to being deaf, like the dumbing down of frequency and frequency in thought, frequency in conversation, frequency in action, frequency in connection. I was like, they don't really want you. And when I mean they, I'm just saying, overall, healthy connection, I don't think is truly valued enough. I don't think healthy conversation is truly valued enough. All these things that because I don't think health is truly valued. That's the root of it. I'm keeping it a buck. I don't think that health is truly valued. So if health was truly valued, then they would value the aspects of what people would do to become healthy.
Because value is made off of how you are unhealthy.
Yeah, because it's not a reoccurring commodity. You can't actually.
So, it behooves you to figure out how to facilitate health within yourself. And the only way you're going to do that is if you sit with yourself.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it.
What are some ways with that around health? What are some ways that people can support awareness-wise, literal grassroots programs, organizations, anything?
Wow. I mean, oof, that's a man. I should have had something loaded, ready to go here. Because my nerd spirit answer is like wherever your heart tells you to go. Like,
what does that mean? I didn't actually bring that up. When you talk about when you say nerd,
yeah,
what does that mean to you? Because I feel like in today's day and age, it's a lot with the generations, and I always thought of myself as a nerd.
Well, yeah, there's a difference between a nerd and a dork.
Haha, yes, correct. There we go.
Okay, a dork is more socially awkward and more like inept.
Some might say I'm socially awkward, so who knows?
But that's something else. A nerd, you do not have any dumb nerds. There is no stupid nerd. In order to be a nerd, you have to know a lot. And then you have to know a lot about specific subjects.
Maybe I'm not a nerd then.
A lot. Say that again.
So maybe I'm not a nerd then. I don't know if I know a lot.
I call myself a nerd because I built my first computer when I was 15 years old.
Yeah, I'd say.
So, as a 42-year-old man who has been building machines since he was a teenager and getting money in that business since he was a child, and the only thing I cannot do on a machine is program them. I can't code. That's not my thing. Give me anything else to do on a machine. You will have what you need promptly, and I will be wanting to do something else pretty quickly. Like I'm voracious. So the nerd is the guy who read every book of this encyclopedia in the house because there was nothing else to do. So he read them all multiple times and learned how to build computers. And when his mom was like, yo, you need to get a job, go bag groceries at the supermarket. And I was like, no. She's like, you too good to bag groceries, boy? I'm like, no, I'm just going to figure something else out. Within a month, I was repairing computers in a different part of town. Just on some other stuff. So that ability to tinker, that ability to be like, all right, this is what's necessary. These are the inputs that are necessary to get the output that I need. Give me 45 minutes. We'll be fine.
How does that translate to helping you in your new lifestyle?
So I know that there is nothing that my presence and intellect cannot change into something else. So if that's an obstacle, that's a barrier, I can have that be on my team. I can have that be something where I'm like, okay, fine, I cannot move this. However, I can do something else. I just believe in my brain and my ability to figure stuff out and get beyond what my brain cannot do and push beyond that and then excel and flower in that and then be someone who is great at that because I have done all the reps. I've done all the hours. I've had the Russian dude yelling at me in the basement telling me that is wrong. And I flipped out at him and he was like, hey, don't do that. But also keep working because you're actually good.
But kind of do that.
Kind of do that? But don't do that? Okay, go. And over and over and over and over. And so like I have the repetition. I have the actual books. Like I've written all the papers, like college scholar and dean's list at Middlebury College. Like these are academic honors that at a top 10 college, not many people get, but I got for 2 full academic semesters. Okay. That's not a small feat. That's not something that, someone who is doing just a regular major is able to do. Like, no, I read all the books cover to cover. I got A's on all the papers. So, yeah, I think that qualifies as a nerd.
I'd say so. What does your world look like work-wise now with MS? How does that?
That's a very good question. The hustle of the hustle town of the Hollywood town, it's kind of worn me down, man. And the MS is like, bro, you don't got the knees for this, bro. You don't got the wind in your sails to keep on. Bro, what else can you do?
Got you.
Leverage something else and do something else. So that's kind of it. Like I make content for people, and I'm working to, be a not a program director, but like a program manager. That's a program manager for either people working with patients or having something, being the guy who helps ideas go.
Mm-hmm.
This is a thing that we want to do. How are we going to make it go? Put Damian in the room. He will bring everybody together. They will have a specific outcome that they join together and make, and he will clean it up and present it next. That's the work that I want to do, and that I'm working to get toward. That's why I was able to build a YouTube channel. 6,500 some odd people strong.
Are you willing to teach?
Absolutely. It's not even willing. I'm the presence that I have.
Yeah, I'm sure so many people would be willing to learn from you in relation to what you do. There, how many men and women are trying to get into that space, and it's a real lane. It's like I don't think people understand that.
But it is, though.
It's its own lane where it takes something different from. Yes, it's acting, but it takes something different than necessarily maybe on film. Maybe it takes something different than all these other spaces, show or whatever it may be. It's its own lane. It's a viable lane that I think. And maybe I'm wrong in this. I don't know.
No. There's a dude that I met. Essentially, I started, because I make content so well, I started making content with a whole other set of people, like a whole other subject of people. And like we made content about cryptocurrencies so that people could understand what was going on. And so like there's dudes in Singapore that like, that's my guy. Like we kick it like we're kicking it right now, and just talking and making content and making our nerd brain who understands these digital currencies, but also still know how to talk to people and bridge that gap. So that's like, it's part of like my professional, my nerd, my taking something complex and then making it simple. So whether I can do that for pharmaceutical companies or digital platforms and digital, whatever, that's kind of what my jam is. Taking something that's not even say incredibly complex, nuanced, and making it simple.
Sounds like a connector to me.
I guess.
Connecting planes, because there's a major disconnect in that. How many things that people just become overwhelmed in the complexity of something,
like
don't even. That it immediately causes a division, and they don't even want to engage, because if you can say no, actually I understand that this seems complex, or it is complex, but hey, let me help you.
Like when your immune system is eating away at your brain and your spine.
Yeah, one of the most complex things that you're experiencing in real time.
You just kind of want it to stop just a little bit, just so you can move on and do something else for a half of a second of a half of a day, maybe. That's kind of, I've been able to smooth out the static, and then next step. And people don't want to take the next step because they see the staircase. And that is I've never been concerned with the staircase ever. I've just been concerned with taking the next step.
Yeah.
And I'm really good at taking the next step and the next step in an indefatigable way. And that's what sets me apart. So what's the next step? What's the next step? What's the next step? Everybody knows what the next step is within them. Whether they will take that, that's on them.
Well, you're the epitome of taking that next step and working, cutting the noise out.
Listen, I stepped into this space because a friend was like, yo, step into this space. The moment you step into space, we just start doing this and jibber jabbering
cool,
and linking and swapping those energies. And that's real, man. That's a gift, sir. So
thank you.
It's different to understand and recognize that gift from one's own perspective who's carrying the gift. But from a dude who's carrying his own said gift, looking at the iterations of you carrying your gift for others.
It doesn't necessarily, and I apologize for cutting you off.
Y'all see that? I was trying to big them up, y'all. I know, to give some love.
Maybe I'm uncomfortable with it. It doesn't necessarily bode well in productions.
Yeah. How so? What you mean?
My team will tell you I'm not the easiest when it comes to packaging something.
What does that mean?
Then it becomes performative, in my opinion. I see certain things as like if I have to do something a certain way, it becomes performative away from what needs to be done.
Ooh, we could talk about this after the podcast, baby. Lord Jesus. Yeah.
And I spoke to the reference of, for me to be able to do this the way that I think is the healthiest for conversations, and which to me is the best because I deal in health. It's relationship based. And it doesn't mean I have to have clearly not a heavy relationship, but I also recognize that when I'm asked to, if I have to speak to somebody and I have to reach out, and I am uncomfortable reaching out to a potential guest or someone, especially if I don't know them very well, to ask them just to ask without context around building some sort of rapport, to ask them to do something for me and like be on my podcast. And for me, it's like, because I know what I'm asking them to do within the podcast. It's like, nah, I gotta connect with you first. And I had a guest who I actually would love to connect you with because energetically I love it. And I think she vibes you, Brianna King. And when I first talked with her and she watched all the podcasts like you, she loves the podcast. She told me she found most value. And I was like, yo, I want you on. I would love for you to be a part of this. I then said, hey, would you like to meet? I said to her, you want to meet one time? You want to just vibe? Just go chop it up. And when I met with her, we met at a park bench. And we talked and she was like, yo, I'm so glad you did this because I don't do anything with anybody before I meet them first.
Okay.
And it essentially showed me that I'm not bugging in trying to create a space for people and recognizing like it's important to do that. Now, in the same breath, I also understand this is a production. And so within this space, I have a team that has to get a job. They have to do shit. You know what I mean? And sometimes my process is a lot slower than what needs to get done. So this is why you need a team. Because if it was up to Ryan, I would take probably like a month to build that relationship with somebody. And we might not have the guesting schedule. So it also lets me know, to some degree, I'm talent. I know I'm not good with the administrative stuff. I know what my strengths are, and I know why I have Nelly. Thank you so much. I know why I have Isaac. Thank you so much.
Special.
And that is, it's like I need coaches.
Absolutely.
I need people, and I'm also in the same breath, I've always been the type of person that it is my job in who I am. It's my job to actually stand my ground and know what connects with my spirit and what honors my spirit, but also this idea of profits and process. It is my job to allow the people that I trust to execute this within staying true to the vision of. Yep. So there's a balance between that.
Yep.
There's a balance between that process, because it can become really easy to go in either direction, where I'm so tight and overly connected to this idea of what profits and process is supposed to look like, you know, like what this is supposed to look like, and how, and become so like that overly mother or parent where they're so restrictive to the point they don't let their child do anything, and then their child is underdeveloped or their child doesn't, and then they resent and then rebel. Or it could become where it becomes so much of one that there's no stand. I just allow everything, and I'm so free with allowing everything to become look a particular type of way that it's not. And I like balance. I like that balance. I'm naturally an extreme person, but I actually appreciate the balance in having a team. And the root of it is because I come from team background where it's high level performance within a team.
Run the play.
Yeah, but everybody to run the play correctly, run the play correctly, everyone has to be in line. And you have to trust that everyone is going to be dope at what they do.
Otherwise, they wouldn't be on the team, sir.
And we buy in. So look, I'm super valuable, man.
I appreciate you and that sentiment. And I want to continue to highlight the cave you fear to enter holds the treasure you seek.
Oh, I know. What do you mean? This is like been the greatest. I don't want to say the scariest. The music thing is the scariest right now. But the greatest thing is that like I am trusting a bunch of people that clearly have shown me they do phenomenal work. And I look forward to how this is continuing to evolve, because this is phase 0.1 of this that we have. And they're buying in. And I know that there's a trust on their end, there's a vulnerability on their end to buy into something that there's not really a track record. No. I don't want this to have a track record. You know, that's the hardest thing, I think. And I'd like to actually speak to that, maybe down and ask them a team. It's like, it's easy to buy into something, in my opinion, when you have an example. Say like, yo, you're buying into that, and we're just going to replicate that. This is not a replication of anything. You know, we're not actually duplicating anything. Yes, I've pulled ideas from other spaces that I've seen that I enjoy, but I am trying to create something in this space that is giving people different. And I hope that through every conversation, people feel that. One conversation at a time. Like, I hope that within the conversations, the audience feels that it's different. I hope that within the conversation, it's not an interview. People, the guest feels that it's different. Yeah, that's what the root of it is.
The folk that you have been lucky to have on your team, but you have also attracted because of the wonderful energy that you are putting out into the universe.
Oh, what?
The universe has called that back in your face in the form of this guy, in the form of that gal. Yeah. Okay. That's what's swirling here, big fella. And the more in touch you are with that, and the more you work to listen to your spirit notion more and less the ego that is keeping you locked into this world and safe in this world and like an actual person, the better. And that listening to the spirit more is as you doing the thing that I probably shouldn't do, or I'm a little squirmish to do, maybe tomorrow, maybe another couple. Nah, that your spirit is in this bag of bones to do the things that are staticky. Not the things that are super, super hard. No, just the things that give you a little bit of resistance. Because if you find a way to do those things, your spirit grows in a way in which that it could not have grown in any other lifetime ever. And this is the only chance. And you are the only chance that it gets to do that. And that's important, man.
I appreciate it.
That's important. And you will get good energy around you.
Yeah, that's what
as you keep walking in that.
As long as I reinforce it and do my part, I get what I deserve in whatever direction it is.
Look, I enjoy all the podcasts, and the one that I'm just like stuck on is one Director X. Like, as a kid in the hood, I watched all those videos, man.
Yeah,
I know them. Like, even seeing his name on the thing, I'm like, well,
I know, right? Lil X was all yeah, right?
I want to hear an hour and a half of what this person has to say. And then I want to hear an hour and a half of what this person has to say when he's saying it to you. Because you know how to make a space comfortable for people.
It's like a Big Up Ryan episode. It's like one big.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? Check it out. Link in the bio, baby. Come on.
I have how are we doing on time? Okay, yeah, I think. All right.
Time flies when you're having fun.
Honestly,
baby.
I have one more question,
sir.
And this is my last question that I ask for everybody. And I always think about it before I ask it, even though I know that I'm going to ask. I think about it in relation to. And if you've seen all the episodes, you know what this question is. So I hope you didn't prep for it. But who cares at the end of the day? Who are you?
Who are you?
AC motherfucker. You motherfucker. Yeah, you got
Woo!
There you go, David.
I just wanted to have that laugh. I wanted to have that laugh, but no. Your question, sir. I'm going to receive
you
your
asked
question.
it. My question is, who are you, Damian?
I'm Floss's grandson. I'm Gloria's baby. I am a guy who is himself in the author's given circumstances. I am a tender soul who understands the value and importance of repetition and focus, and who understands that himself and everyone around him, even the people in his way, are just love. And understanding what that means, even in a non-loving moment, I am someone who is curious about what that means and how I can use a moment of catalyst like that to make myself better. So that's a long way of saying I am a student. I am a performer. I am an action taker. And I am, as one of my friends would call himself, I am a gentleman explorer. I am someone who just wants to be his most expansive self and hold presence for folk in such a way that they can be their most vulnerable selves around me. And in that vulnerability, there's joy, there's love that can only be felt. It can't be touched. And when you feel something, that's how you know you're alive. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
I can feel how much you love life, man. And it's beautiful to see, man, that you give it and you share it with us and you share it with others, because that's it, right? That's why we're here, right?
My man, 100
Ain't
grand.
that why we're here?
My guy so fly. Okay. The meditators say namaste, right? Namaste literally means the God in me recognizes the God in you.
Word, I see you.
So,
word. It's funny. That's the root of the question. The root of the question is basically so that people will recognize that they're God.
Think about that.
That's kind of why I ask it.
Think about that.
Because all the talk and all whatever the answer is, yeah, that's cool. But
that's
I just want
what
them to.
it is.
I just want them to acknowledge that they're God.
We are God stepped down through many dimensions.
So that's what we give value to the Creator.
Absolutely.
Which essentially makes us God, because God is God because Creator. And if you're the person that gives value to the Creator, you are.
Look,
if I create the Creator, I'm God. Same thing.
I could speak on another 2-hour podcast about
that's a whole nother thing.
These notions. That's an entirely other thing. But that's the God in me recognizes the God in you.
Keep doing what you're doing, brother.
Respect, man. Thank you. And thank you for holding this space. And thank you for bringing interesting people into the space and making it available, making their vulnerability available to us. And we get to get a piece of our lives back.
Thank you.
Because of what you have facilitated giving. Thank you.
All right.
Respect, man.
See, these conversations are really for me to just keep doing. Each conversation just allows me to just do the next one.
Look at God. There we go, baby.
How do people get in contact with you? I always fuck that up at the end. So I'm.
Hey, y'all. DamianWashington.com. That's where you get all your DW news. Instagram, Facebook, Damian Washington. Just type
Damian Washington, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube.
Anything you are looking for, any place you are looking for Damian Washington, you put those terms in, you're going to find him.
Okay, sweet.
I'm a public figure, baby.
This was good.
This is wonderful.
This was different. This was outside, so I didn't get as much sun as I would like. Just because I've been,
Well, that messes up the camera's eye, baby.
And shit. Yeah, now I get my sun. See, now you see me in my light. Now you see me in all the light that I'm supposed to be. I can't look into the camera.
For the camera's
I can't look into the camera, but you see me glowing.
The camera only has a certain.
You see my glow, baby. But this was refreshing. This was different, and I look forward to you all hearing this. So welcome to Prophets in Process, and thank you.
Namaste, champ.
Peace out.